Okay, today we're going to go back here to what this was. Akroma was one of the very first EDH decks I ever made, simply because I have always loved her. I've always loved it. It's just such a powerful, powerful card, and my it has changed a lot over the years. My very first iteration of her was Mana Ramp and Blow Up the World. Obviously, Avacyn kind of took over that shell when she was printed, but Akroma is, man, I've always loved the card. I love all those abilities. A lot of those abilities she just has no business having. I mean, haste, trample. Anyway, um, but this is kind of a pet deck of mine. I've been, you know, as I get copies of certain cards, I might work it in, but this is pretty much just there's not a lot of deep strategy here. It's just a lot of white good stuff. Now, one thing I do want to start with is here's a card I have not talked about yet. Thawing Glaciers. Now, Thawing Glaciers came out in alliances as part of the awesome lands they were doing with that set. But Thawing Glaciers is probably one of the no, I don't know if it's one of. I think it may be the best one drop or turn one drop land ever. The ability to just keep fishing land out of your deck every other turn is amazing. Now, if you can get this with, in some decks, the Exploration and Amulet of Vigor, it's dumb. It really, really is dumb. But love Thawing Glacier. Thawing Glaciers works very, very well with the Emira, obviously. Since we're doing the special lands, we'll obviously Ijano Castle. Ijano Castle is really, I think it's amazing for any white EDH deck because this prevents damage to your general. A lot of times the damage is exact just what's needed, and if you can less it by 2, a lot of times your guy will come out on top. Now I do have the mana ramp in, of course, the Chalice, the Dynamo, the Soul Ring, and the Bloom. Now, she's got to have boots, obviously. I went with the Hall, Felden's Cane. Sorry about that being, alternate language. Felden's Cane, for those of you who don't know, is a 1-mana artifact. This was the very first card that they ever made that did this ability, by the way. Artifact, you tap and sack to shuffle your graveyard into your library. Now, Felden's Cane, amazing card. The popularity of Mill has made it even better. Running 2 walkers, obviously 2 versions of Elspeth. Now, the actual creature base, it's I tried hard not to make this tribal angel. There's some creatures in here that are not tribal, but they're just too good to not play. But I want to talk about Rhea, Platinum, Iona, Arbiter, Angel of Strife. Now, the reason why I showed you all those cards together is because, now keep in mind, our general does cost 8 mana, and all of those angels that I just showed you, pretty awesome. It's not of this world. It's not something you normally see in a mono white deck, But when your general is 8 mana and she draws the hate like she does, it's easy for me to justify to run the Not of This World. Now, obviously, the smaller creatures, the Bane Slayer is really good. The Knight of the White Orchid. I have been claiming to take Aven Cloud Chaser out for years now, but every time I draw it, I go, man, I need to take this card out. And then it becomes relevant in that game. So I fear the first time I take it out, it's going to matter, and I'm going to be stuck with whatever. I can't destroy. Deathless Angel, Sun Titan. It's, as I said, it's just a lot of mono white. I mean, obviously y'all know I love foil things, and Akroma's always had a warm spot in my heart. Now, Glory, I realize this is written in Arabic, I believe. FY, just a little trivia note. Back in the day, when there was only one pre-release card, there wasn't a whole lot of pre-releases. Every store couldn't have them. You had to generally drive somewhere unless you got lucky and lived in one of those state or one of the cities. There was just about one per state, unless you were just a huge state. I know here in Tennessee, it was either Memphis or Nashville. There was never both. But what they went through a phase, Wizards did, to where they would print the pre-release card in an alternate language, alternate other than English. And this happened to be the one. This is Glory from Prophecy. And what Glory does, it was part of that cycle of cards that work only when it's in the graveyard. Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-mana 3/3 dude, but if it's in the graveyard, you can spend 2 colorless and a white, and your team gets protection from color of your choice. Yeah, that's right. Glory. Now, Sword of the Vengeance, I realize it's kind of redundant on her, but, on your other dudes, it's kind of good. Here again, we're playing mono white, so there's no reason to not play Brave the Elements. Path, of course. Holy Day, I'm telling you, the Holy Day, Darkness, Fog thing. Now, I think Holy Day and Darkness win more games than Fog does. I realize Fog is in the creature combat color, and the idea is you're going to fog out an alpha swing, and they're not going to have blockers for it because they know they've got it won. They're going to deal no combat damage. They're going to, have no or few blockers, and you're going to come back. But with the rise of Darkness, Holy Day is just about not ever seen coming because people don't normally associate that with white, even though white's got probably more variants of it. It's quite frankly amazing. Of course, we got to have her disenchant, the old school art. Now, I did leave some of the blow up the world theme in the deck because we ain't got just a crazy amount of creatures, but we do have some. Now, how many times has somebody put out Luminarch Ascension on you on turn 2, and by the time it got back around to their turn, they're making angels? And I'm not talking a few angels. They are making angels upon angels upon angels. Luminarch Ascension is a beautiful card. It is one of the perfect multiplayer white cards that exist. And it kind of led me down the road of, because as soon as I got it, I had to go and get me some 4/4 angel tokens. And I was like, you know what? 4/4 angel tokens. if only there was some good enchantments that I could play to get me some 4/4 angel tokens. Well, as it turns out, there kind of is. We have Oblivion Stone. Pacifism, of course, it had to be this specific pacifism. And the reason, I'll show you why it had to be this specific pacifism. I, as I said, I've had this deck for quite a while, but when it got to the point to where I was foiling out the deck and I was like, this is one of my favorites, It doesn't win a lot. It really doesn't. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's fun. It's fun for me. And I said, you know what? I think I remember there was sleeves with this pacifism art on it. And so I went online and started looking, and my gosh, those got expensive. See, they were sold in 80 count packs, and that's what, Wizards, why are you doing this? Okay? 50, 100. Don't, 80 count packs. I realize you're doing it for the tournament players. FYI, Commander is a big thing, and I would say 99% of all Commander decks are sleeved, and we just about have to buy either 50 or 100, or if you like a sleeve, you can get, the 80 pack if you get a bunch of them, but your lowest common denominator is crazy math. But anyway, I found that sleeve. Now, I paid way more than I should have for that sleeve, but I had to have it for this deck and this deck alone. It's the perfect sleeve for this deck, and because I did pay so much for it, this was the first deck I think I actually triple sleeved, and it's because of the sleeve. Now, I'm going to get real close. I want to show you this. I've had this deck and played it. Look at that sleeve. I've played it a bunch for years. I've had this deck in these sleeves for 8 years. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, that is why I triple sleeve. To save the sleeves as much as the card. Yes, it does give an added layer. But anyway, back to the enchantments. Now, because we are playing enchantments, we might as well be getting something off of them. Here again, we're playing mono white. You put it on Akroma, and you just win games. It's so good, I almost feel bad. Of course, we have Ghostly Prison. Now, Brave the Sands. Brave the Sands looks kind of awkward because she already has Vigilance, but a lot of your team doesn't, and your tokens certainly don't. But the fact when you can start, when Akroma can start blocking 2 creatures, it's a little good. Now, when she has Double Strike and Lifelink, it's even better. Marshall's Anthem late game can actually refill up your hand with your dead dudes, and it acts as a an honor for you, so it's not that bad. A few of these cards I'm taking out, as I said, for a test drive. This is a constantly evolving deck. Authority of the Consuls I really kind of like because of the not so much the whole life gain thing, but I like the ability to take out Akroma blockers whenever possible. So, I don't know. I'm trying it out. Also trying out Nevermore. Simply because if you can kill their general, and if it's a problem general to deal with, you can Nevermore their damn general, and there's not a lot. I mean, if they're black or red, they're just done. Of course, Arrest is just another path variant. Lifelink and Aethervolk to give the deck this one. I don't know how I feel about this. I've got it in there. Here again, it's a test drive scenario. I may not keep it in there. I don't have a lot of ways to dependably trigger that revolt, but if I can get one or two, well, no, it takes more than one. To be honest with you, to get this on par with the collective thing, it requires three. So now that I think about it, it's probably not long for the road. Um, I mean, I do have some other randomness in the deck. Silence. Ghost Away is always a great save my team trigger. Crib Swap, by the way, if you're not playing Crib Swap, you need to think about it because it just straight exiles the creature. It does not destroy it, so all the indestructible things kind of don't matter as much. I went down the road with the 4/4 Angel token, so I figured why not? We're already driving down that road. We might as well go full blast. A few of the random mana rocks there. Now, she did borrow Avacyn's Mask because, you know, she needs it. But the Dragon Throne. Dragon Throne is, you can sit any, even if you're just putting a Angel token on there, giving your team +4/+4 is really kind of awesome. I like it a lot. Now, the Stoneforge Masterwork, I know I said we're not tribal angels, but with the amount of tokens that we could make with our various token generators, obviously we've got the Purge, and I have Geddon. Geddon is a very, very tricky card. Now, back in the day, we had there was Armageddon. It was pretty much big creature Geddon. You played a big creature and you blew everybody's land up so they couldn't deal with it. Now, it's not as dependable nowadays because now we've had, quite a few years of card printing since then, and there's a little more ways to interact. There's a hell of a lot more cards. We got 16,000 cards now, but the idea is still sound. I play Akroma, I blow up all lands. What do you got? Somebody's going to die to Akroma damage before they can find a way to deal with her. And of course, Tragic Arrogance. I'm going to choose Akroma and, probably True Conviction. And anyway, that is what I have got for the old pet Akroma deck there. I love her to pieces. But that's all I've got for today. It's kind of, as I said, it's kind of a personal deck for me. Not a real theme. Constantly changing. I do appreciate you watching. Hey, y'all, let me know what you think on the guest star thing with other folks' deck. It might be refreshing to hear another perspective other than mine, because sometimes I get a little skewed and I'm just one person, But anyway, y'all tell me what you think. Let me know. I do appreciate you watching. But right now, it's time to shuffle and cut.